Hey guys, the real Sherif. I'm here, aka Mangana Steel, with another knife design review video. Today we have the Great White by Artisan Cutlery, designed by Gavco Knives. And you can see the Gavco logo right there. This is a very interesting knife design, without a doubt. Can be a bit polarizing, I'm sure, but let's get into it. This is one of a very rare breed of knives that actually is a recurve and tanto. The only other recurve tanto that I know about offhand is the Emerson CQC15, and it takes a very different approach. Personally, I am a fan of both of these elements. I love a good recurve and I love a good tanto. But what makes this knife so unique is not just the blade shape, but the ergonomics that Gavco incorporated into this knife. Now, this particular model was a version commissioned by White Mountain Knives. It's more of a budget version, comes in the AR RPM 9 steel that is, I believe, proprietary to Artisan Knives. And the budget versions commissioned by Great White Knives feature either this black micarta or white G10, and I think there was another flavor I can't remember right now. But my particular model has this very nicely done blue pivot collar, and to my surprise has the liners actually blued as well. I don't know if I can catch it from the top view, but you can definitely see it right there on the lock interface. Now, this is a very fidgety knife, very, very good for reverse flicking. You can even actually use the thumb hole, which, given the size of it, makes it very easy to forward flip, and you can even slow roll it. So I have to give Gavco props on the design of the opening here. Also, as I mentioned earlier, what I find so interesting about this knife are the ergonomic considerations. Right from the off, you have this sort of elongated harpoon, which is similar to what I did on the GRAZIOSO. You can lay your finger on the flat here and get very nice control over the tip. You have a finger choil where your index finger can nestle into and wrap around, and you can even come back with a pinch grip, use that flat section, get onto the tip, etc. What makes this so interesting, especially this more forward grip, is this handle shape here with this negative cut into it actually nestles into the meat of your palm, like perfectly. It's exceedingly well done. And even if you back up on the knife and you use this pinch grip, or you use a sort of index finger against this harpoon curve, the flat section back here also nestles into your hand incredibly well. The only part I would say that does give me a little bit of pause as far as the handle shape is just this little point right here. And that's just a matter of opinion. Personally, I'm not gonna like overly criticize it. However, I do think that it's maybe not in 100% necessary, but I will say for my extra large to double extra large mitts, this thing, it fits my hand really perfectly. Overall, it's incredibly thin, which makes it very nice for EDC carrying, and the, as I said, fidget factor is incredible. I actually find myself fidgeting with this all the time. The execution is top notch. Mine has been drop shutty since the day I got it. It has this bent steel pocket clip, which usually I hate them. I really do. This one, however, nestles into my hand well, doesn't give me any like hot spots. But overall, this is a very, very interesting knife design. Now, if I do want to criticize this knife, it's really not about this point so much, but it is more about the transition area between the recurve and the flat tanto section up here. In my experience in using this knife, and I have been using this knife almost exclusively actually since I got it, because I really wanted to understand Gavco's thinking in the overall design. I find that the recurve section is a bit short in my usage scenarios. I end up using the flat section here quite a bit more for doing kind of like push cutting tasks than I do the recurve. Because what I do find is that given its sort of short length here, the media will kind of transition back and forth, you know, over this section a little bit too much for me. I wouldn't have minded if it was elongated just a bit more and the tip stayed in the same position, but maybe the tanto was a little bit shorter. And that's something that you do see here with the CQC 15. As you can see, the tanto tip here is actually very short. Maybe a little too short, in my opinion, for, you know, real effective use. I mean, I really have to like hammer down on that to get a lot of use out of the tanto tip. But with this elongated recurve section, I get a lot of my material caught right here, and it makes it very effective for slicing and push cutting. And really, that's honestly my only criticism of this knife. I think it's actually quite geniusly done overall. The, you know, every curve, every element is done exceedingly purposefully and is very well considered. I just wish that the recurve was like maybe a quarter of an inch longer. Now, I think the tip positioning relative to the center line of the knife is also very good. I've never had any issues where I couldn't pierce and get into any media, which can happen with a little bit of a lower tip position like this. But given how the knife nestles into your hand, it kind of pulls back and almost hits the center line of your grip really, really well. So overall, I really do enjoy this thing, and I don't see myself giving it up anytime soon. It's just, this is the only part of the design that I wish was just a hair longer, and I think it would have been like truly like perfect for many, many uses that I use, and it would hit all of the points. I'm actually a little jealous because this is not something aesthetically that I would typically come up with. But that, I think, is the beauty of experiencing different knife designs by different designers. Everybody has a different sort of way of thinking about how they're going to handle ergonomics and blade shape and everything. And given for how narrow this handle is, it really, really nestles into the hand very, very well. I have no problems with any sort of control in any position, and it's a delightful knife design to actually use on the day-to-day. So if you guys are really, you know, curious about this after seeing this, if I remember correctly, these are going for like 70 or 80 bucks at White Mountain Knives, which I think is a steal for the quality of the knife. The RPM 9 steel has been pleasantly surprising. And, you know, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this thing and its crazy lines, its crazy curves. And don't forget to like and subscribe the video. I hope you enjoyed this little design review, and have a great one. Be safe. Take care of one another. Catch you in the next one.